All right, we need to get this room set up. We need to put 500 people in this small room, and I'm going to need the dry chicken breast salads put onto the tables. Yes, they need to sit there for like 2 hours before the guests arrive. And water. We need water everywhere. And we need 9 bars. Everybody drinks during this luncheon. Like 9 bars aren't going to be... What? Michael, what? We're live? And this is virtual? Oh, well then, change my background. And, change my outfit. Good morning. I am Ron McGee, a longtime friend and supporter of the AIDS Service Foundation, and I am your virtual MC for today's luncheon. I guess we didn't have to get ready for all of you to pack into one room. You're at home, comfortable. You get to eat and drink what you want. And on behalf of the board of the AIDS Service Foundation, I welcome you to the World AIDS Day Community Observations 2020. Obviously, a virtual event. We are so pleased that you're here with us in a historic year that none of us could have imagined a year ago when we gathered at last year's World AIDS Day Community Luncheon. Although it would have been more fun to be together today, we are being safe so we can gather in person and observe the 2021 World AIDS Day together. That will be one heck of an event. I heard they're renting Bartle Hall. 5,000 people. Waiters. I know why you have tuned in this morning for this important World AIDS Day observance. Because you care about vulnerable communities. Because you care about healthcare access for all. Because you know that epidemics and pandemics are not monolithic. And because you know that a caring community is a strong, thriving community. Again, I am so pleased that you are here with us today. Joining us in our welcome are today's presenting sponsors. Tito's Handmade Vodka, Chris Beal and Tim Van Zandt. Thank you. Also welcoming you are our legacy sponsors, AT&T, Burns and McDonnell, State Street, Gilead, Hills Pet Nutrition, the Muriel McBrien Kaufman Foundation, and Hallmark. And we want to say thank you to our commitment sponsors, Sun Life Financial, Linda Beal, Roy Cordy, Sandy and Steve Godoldig, Greg and Sybil Orman, John Pinkerton and Michael Linticum, Greg and Deanna Graves, and Kay Beatty. We have a full program today that will run just short of an hour, so we invite you to sit back there at your computer in your home, or if you're watching this from your office, or if you're in your living room and can project it up onto your big screen TV, you're like, whoa, that's so big, Ron's head's so big. And enjoy the program that our incredible planning leadership team has worked on for the past 11 months. Together, we gather on the cusp of the 39th year of the AIDS crisis. In the last several years, great advancements have been made with drug therapies which have made miraculous changes in HIV and AIDS patients' lives. But there still remains many challenges for our people fighting the disease, including stigma, the expenses associated with treatments, and the continuing need for direct services of life essentials, housing, food, and care. Much has changed for the better, but there's much that still needs to be done. That is why we're here today, virtually, but in one spirit together, in the context of think globally, act locally. People, especially our youth and young adults, are still contracting HIV, which we may be pleased with the progress we have made. We should not be pleased that nearly 5,000 people who live in our community live with HIV/AIDS every day. Since its inception, the AIDS Service Foundation has steadfastly remained true to its founding mission and continues to be an essential part of our local HIV/AIDS fabric. Since 1992, the AIDS Service Foundation of Greater Kansas City mission remains the same, to fund local organizations that provide food, shelter, medical support, and other services to diverse communities dealing with HIV/AIDS and promote public education about HIV infection. The mission is simple. The charge is clear and sincere passion fuels the actions of the foundation. Today we ask you to recommit to think globally, act locally by participating throughout the year in supporting our AIDS service organizations events as well as our other AIDS Service Foundation events. This year, under the leadership of event co-chairs Sandy Godoldig and Chadwick Brooks, the World AIDS Day planning team and advisory committee faced unbelievable challenges when COVID-19 forced us all to think anew and make changes that were not even thought possible a year ago. To each of them, I say thank you on behalf of the grateful community. And they're really fun. If you get a chance, take Sandy and Chadwick to Ragazza and have lunch with them. They're a blast. Drink, drink. You can read their names in your email program that you should have received earlier. Now, COVID-19 has been difficult and challenging. However, the planning team did not sway in the face of a challenge. They joined forces and produced what I am sure you will find to be an exciting, educational, and inspirational program today. Oh, and don't forget today, Tuesday, December 1st, is Giving Tuesday. On this Giving Tuesday, we hope you will consider making a gift to support the AIDS Service Foundation of Greater Kansas City. Every dollar you give today will stay here in our community to help our community. Thank you for considering a gift today. And now, to tell us about this year's event theme and activities, please welcome to our screen one of our co-chairs of the 2020 World AIDS Day Observance, Chadwick Brooks.
Good morning. On behalf of my co-chair, Sandy, we want to welcome and thank you for your continued friendship and financial support in the local fight against HIV/AIDS. Our event theme of HIV/AIDS Activism Through Art is founded on the idea that art has always played a significant role in raising awareness and moving people to action in social justice and freedom. We did a call to local artists to submit proposals in order to create a public, large-scale outdoor mural that would tell a story and spark conversation about HIV/AIDS in the Kansas City community. The mural came alive the second week of November and is located at 3515 Broadway on the south wall of Casey Care Health Center. This would never have happened without the support of three major community partners. We want to thank Schweitzer Brothers Painting, Kansas City Life Insurance Company, and Casey Care Center for all that they did to ensure that the mural was created and now will be enjoyed by thousands and thousands of people every day. Now, to learn more about the mural and the inspiration behind it, please meet our friend and amazing local artist, Jared Horman.
Hey there, my name is Jared Horman. I am a Kansas City-based artist and illustrator. And I wanted to say, first of all, thank you to ASF Kansas City for deciding to do this mural project and for picking my design and my idea and letting me be a part of this World AIDS Day event. I wanted to take a second to talk about my vision for this mural, how the idea came about, and how this design kind of represents where I am and thoughts that I've had. So for me, as a queer artist and also someone that's involved in a queer organization, Stonewall Sports, one of my biggest frustrations I've realized as in starting that and continuing to grow and get more connected within the queer spaces in Kansas City is that there doesn't seem to necessarily be a huge swath of queers that are our older generations for me to look to learn from. And being that I came out a little bit later in life and hadn't necessarily done a lot of research, in the last couple of years, I've learned a lot more about how a big part of that centers around the AIDS epidemic and our administration's blatant ignoring of that health crisis and all of the lives that we lost. There's a lot of incredible humans, stories, and ideas that that I wish were here, and people that I could know and learn from and grow with. And so I wrote the phrase that ended up being the big part of the mural a little while ago when I was just feeling really frustrated about that and was looking at kind of my cis straight peers and seeing that they have all of these examples around still. And while we do have some incredible leaders from previous generations, we definitely should have plenty more. So over time, I've realized that these emotions are not just unique to me, and that there are many others that have experienced them similarly. And at the same time, we have a very real problem within our community when it comes to our attitudes towards survivors and HIV positive folks living today. My proposed mural both sort of vents my frustrations at the lack of guidance and also encourages viewers to confront their internalized stigmas around HIV and AIDS. So with the imagery, for me as an artist, I utilize chess pieces as kind of these symbolic archetypes often in my work. They kind of help me express abstract ideas in a little bit more specifically framed terms. And so for me, I chose to depict those who were claimed by AIDS as these angelic, powerful, massive figures. So the king and queen representing our leaders and mentors, the knights as lovers, the rook as artists, and the bishop as the thinkers that we've lost. The pawn is kind of how I imagine young people searching for their missing heroes. They represent potential, and they could become any other piece on the board. The pawns also represent the viewer's potential to react and respond to the past with the goal of changing the game in the future. One of the unique things about painting this mural was having patients, doctors, staff actually walking in and out of KC Care respond to the mural itself. And honestly, the feedback was really encouraging and something that got me even more excited to work harder to make sure that this was a beautiful piece that would last in Kansas City for a long time. The message seemed to very much resonate with everyone that was coming through, and that was really cool and rewarding for me as an artist to be able to see that instantaneous feedback.
Thank you, Jared, and congratulations on bringing the mural alive for all of Kansas City to learn from and enjoy. Okay. Today, we are so honored and appreciative that our longtime friend and one of our nation's most knowledgeable HIV/AIDS policy experts is with us to deliver remarks about the state of HIV/AIDS in the era of COVID-19. Jesse Milan Jr. is a tireless community advocate. A person living with HIV for over 3 decades, Jesse is a recognized leader in the HIV community. He brings 30 years of experience in executive roles in the public and private sectors and has directed multi-million-dollar budgets and staffs for federal, state, local, and global public health agencies. Jesse is the president and CEO of AIDS United, which has a mission to end the AIDS epidemic in the United States through strategic grant making, capacity building, formative research, and policy. Many of you were at our first community luncheon 14 years ago when Jesse gave the inaugural World AIDS Day luncheon keynote. He has returned several times to deliver lunch note key marks over the years. When today's event committee was looking for a national voice to speak to the issues of HIV/AIDS in the COVID-19 era, they turned to one of the world's foremost experts on HIV/AIDS, and that turn was to Jesse. Jesse is a native of Kansas City, and all right. So today we welcome him home virtually. And now let's hear from our hometown hero, Jesse Milan.
Hello to all my homies in Kansas City. You know, I'm from Kansas City, Kansas, and graduated from Washington High School in Wyandotte County. And I have family all over greater Kansas City, so it's always special to be with you. And I'm joining you on Zoom in the same way I join with the rest of my family and friends in this unprecedented time. And boy, am I tired of hearing that phrase, this unprecedented time. I suppose I'm tired of hearing it and saying it because the unprecedented nature of this year's COVID-19 pandemic is one all of us despise and are tired of. But why I really don't like hearing unprecedented is because there are many aspects of this unprecedented year that are not new or unfamiliar to us, the HIV community. For now 39 years, we, the HIV community, have buried our dead, and we've worried about our health. We faced the uncertainty of knowing what a test result might bring and knowing if we're positive. We've wondered about who has or who has not been tested or who might have the virus. And we've taught our people about how to be safe and how to stop transmissions. We've been here before. And we've waited for a vaccine. And that wait is not unprecedented for us. But those aren't the only parts of this year that are part of our story that are not unprecedented. We've marched in the streets. Our targets were the president and even the Pope. We've protested to the FDA, to mayors and governors and Congress, and like young Brian White, even to school boards. Only our protests were about doing something to preserve our health. Not protesting is not unprecedented to us. And we've faced stigma and discrimination, all because of a virus. And too many of us have lived with shame and the secrecy of knowing we have a virus, or of living with or loving someone who does. We know that stigma all too well. It is not unprecedented for us. And we have faced in the HIV community the truth about racism within our community and even within the ranks of our organizations. Black lives seemed not to matter when it came to HIV until we said they must matter. And the same has been true for brown lives and Native lives, for gay and lesbian and transgendered lives. So the loud protests and rallying calls for justice in our streets are not unprecedented for us when it comes to our dignity, to our livelihoods, to our rights, and our health. And for many of us longtime survivors of HIV, we have been re-traumatized by the scenes of intensive care wards for COVID-19. These scenes are not unprecedented for us because we remember all too well the gowns and the gloves and the mask that we had to use when we visited our loved ones who were dying of AIDS. And I've been struck by how often all the faces in the squares of a Zoom call remind me of the patchwork quarters of the AIDS memorial quilt, each one with a name and a story and a life connected piece by piece by piece. Yes, this unprecedented year has precedents that many of us have experienced before. But what is unprecedented is that the HIV community has been leading and guiding us through this COVID-19 year. Dr. Anthony Fauci is first and foremost the world's leading HIV doctor and scientist. He is deeply rooted in our community. And a year ago, I had the honor to present him with an award for his 35 years of working on HIV as director of the National Institutes of Allergies and Infectious Diseases at the NIH. That's the very role that qualifies him to speak to us every single day. And Dr. Deborah Birx, the lady in the scarves and all those White House briefings, is actually our global AIDS ambassador. She runs the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, known as PEPFAR, and I serve on her PEPFAR advisory board. They were tapped for their leadership for this unprecedented coronavirus because of their unprecedented experience and expertise with the unprecedented HIV virus. But the roles of many that we see on TV, like Admiral Giroir in the black uniform and the white hair, and Dr. Redfield of the CDC, they too have roots that are deep in the HIV community, but their roles may soon come to an end. But the leadership of the HIV community may continue because President-elect Biden has assembled his COVID-19 task force that includes HIV leaders already. And they include African-American leaders like my dear friend, Dr. Eric Goosby. He is our former global AIDS ambassador. And he was also a former director for AIDS at the White House. And a Black woman named Lois Pace. She's the executive director of the Global Health Council. She too is rooted in HIV, and she joined me just a few weeks ago on a webinar for the American Public Health Association, where we addressed together how HIV and COVID-19 are impacting the Black diaspora, a diaspora that stretches from Kenya to Kansas. And Eric and Lois may be just the beginning of HIV leadership in the new administration. Just last year, Kamala Harris proposed legislation for PrEP access that is modeled on the AIDS Drug Assistance Program known as ADAP. And my organization, AIDS United, helped her write that unprecedented bill. But what's unprecedented is not that HIV is a bipartisan issue, that we know. What's unprecedented is that the political will to end this epidemic has more power than ever before. The United States has two successive presidents who created structures long needed for ending this epidemic at home. President Obama's National HIV/AIDS strategy and President Trump's Ending the HIV Epidemic initiative has the goal of ending the epidemic by 2030. It is built on the unprecedented work of the National AIDS strategy of President Obama. Indeed, President Trump never rolled back the vision and purpose of Obama's National HIV/AIDS strategy with its vision where new infections are rare and where people have unfettered access to quality life-extending care free of stigma and discrimination. And next month, in January, the current administration will roll out an update to the National HIV/AIDS strategy. So President Biden, President-elect Biden, has a great precedent to follow. And he has a roadmap to follow as well. Because President-elect Biden has taken our community's original goal of ending the epidemic by 2025. AIDS United created a massive document called Ending the HIV Epidemic in the United States, a roadmap for federal action. And we released it 2 years ago on World AIDS Day. And it became the premises on which the Trump administration's Ending the HIV Epidemic initiative is based. The roadmap, located on our website, is a 150-page plan that was endorsed by 250 HIV organizations and allies from all across the US. And our roadmap for ending the epidemic proposes ending the epidemic not by 2030, but by 2025. And that is the goal the incoming Biden administration has already said is its goal too. This is great news. And unless you doubt it, just this week, Reggie Greer, the LGBTQ lead for the Biden transition team, announced to all 57 members of the AIDS United Public Policy Council that, and I quote, Biden is committed to 2025 and to rebuilding the national HIV/AIDS strategy. That goal is unprecedented. But how will the Biden plan roll out? Who will be needed to lead it? Will we get the funding from Congress it needs, especially with COVID-19 and with all the problems in our economy? Well, we don't know yet, but our community has never been silent about advocating for what we need or what we want. Don't be silent now. And we have always been clear that HIV is about all the intersecting issues that inform our health and that can transform our lives. And that includes addressing not only the coronavirus, but also the epidemic issues, or the syndemic issues of the STI epidemic, the syndemic issue of the viral hepatitis epidemic, and the opioid epidemic. It includes understanding that racism is an epidemic and that homophobia still exists and that transphobia is an understated and underreported danger, with over 36 killings this year alone of transgender people, 36 killings in a lockdown year. That is unprecedented. And they come on top of the social determinants of all of our health, foremost of which are jobs and homes. It is not unprecedented that in our economy, we have lost many jobs and homes. America has been there before, but our community is teaching the nation that housing is healthcare. And as beneficiaries of the Ryan White program, we are also leaders for advocating that healthcare should not be tied to whether a person has a job or not. Because when it is, just look at what can happen. So this World AIDS Day, let's not dwell on what is unprecedented about this year, because for us, there are precedents from our past that we know well. Instead, let's focus on the precedents that we can create, the new way, the new ways of being, and the new national unity we need to create, and starting a new way forward for redressing inequities and addressing head-on supremacy and privilege, and most of all, working together for building the health and the healing that our country needs now. And our country can learn from the precedents of the HIV community, because the HIV community has become a community where all are embraced, and when some or parts of our community aren't embraced, they have shoved their way in and taught us that they belong right along our side, because our community values every life. We have precedents that presidents of any nation can learn from. So thank you, Kansas City. Whenever I'm with you, whether in person or on Zoom, I can feel your love. I can feel the unity, the resilience, and the hope. The heartland is truly the heart of America. So to all my homies, stay safe, stay strong. We have precedents to learn from, and new precedents to set, and a new president to hold accountable for delivering promises and hope for us, the community of people living with, vulnerable to, and serving HIV. That's what World AIDS Day in this unprecedented year is all about. And you are making it happen. Thank you. God bless you, and have a great event.
Thank you, Jesse, and thank you for your continued friendship and support of the AIDS Service Foundation of Greater Kansas City. We hope to see you back in person when COVID-19 is but a distant memory. And now, to give us a snapshot of what is happening at the state level with HIV/AIDS, we are proud to bring State Senator-elect Greg Razor into the program.
Hi, everyone. State Senator-elect Greg Razor here, and welcome to the Missouri State Capitol. It is great to be here with you today as we commemorate World AIDS Day on December 1st this year. December 1st also marks the first day that I, as a new senator, can introduce legislation here in Jefferson City. And I wanted to tell you about a specific bill targeted towards HIV that I'll be filing on day one. As we all know, HIV medication has come a long way since this pandemic began. A person who is HIV positive today, who stays on their medication, is likely to reach an undetectable viral load, and undetectable equals untransmittable. Folks in high-risk categories can be on PrEP, preventing them from contracting the virus in the first place. And even for those who may not be in a high-risk category or be on PrEP, we now have PEP for emergency situations to make sure that when that clock is ticking, before the virus is permanently embedded in the body, we can eradicate it and keep that person HIV negative. But there's a problem with PEP. There is about a 72-hour window that we have to get the medication to folks. And if you don't have access to a doctor in that window, you are permanently HIV positive. So the legislation that I'm introducing will allow pharmacists the ability to distribute PEP in a supervised way over the counter for a small window of time to ensure that person remains HIV negative and buys them the time to see an infectious disease doctor and get on PEP. I'm going to need your help with this. We are going to need a team of experts to come to Jefferson City and testify, to write written testimony and testify. Those of you who are activists, doctors, pharmacists, please reach out to me so that we can get you on board. This is a step to ending the last global pandemic that has hit us, and Missouri can help lead the way. Thank you all for everything you do all year round. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve you in this great building. And I look forward to seeing you all at home very soon.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you for your years of support to AIDS Walk and the Foundation. I remember when you used to volunteer at the walk in the registration tent right after your graduation from AMU. Time flies, and I remember when you and I owned a little boutique dress shop called Fitted. Only carried size 0 through 30 dresses. It's very interesting dress shop. Well, thank you for showing us fun and what our government's doing. And now, with a local and personal story to share, we welcome our good friend Calvin Pugh. Calvin is on staff at KC Care Health Center, where he works as a lead peer educator. You've probably seen Calvin this fall on national television spots as a patient ambassador. I mean, it's really cool. You're watching TV and there's Calvin. Hello. Working in a really clean office, like scribbling. Calvin also serves as a volunteer on the AIDS Walk Steering Committee and is a member of the Education and Outreach Committee of the AIDS Service Foundation. Welcome, Calvin Pugh. Hi, Calvin.
Thank you, Ron, and good afternoon. My family moved to Kansas City when I was only 3 years old. And my mother instilled those core Midwestern values, like be the hardest worker in the room and to get up every time life knocks you down. Those guiding principles led me to my first ambition in life. So when I was on a tour of the police station with my Cub Scout troop in Overland Park, I asked the officer what kind of training I was going to need to be a superhero. Now, she laughed at me and said there was no such thing. Ultimately, I spent a decade as a hairdresser in a blur of hairspray and fast success. And in the beginning of 2016, I fell incredibly ill. So ill that I fell asleep in random places. Now, I grew up in this incredible community where testing was a given and a habit. About the time I felt better, I went to go get tested and heard nothing, per usual, which meant good news. Until one day, I started getting frantic phone calls from a woman at the health department. She said she needed to speak to me immediately and in person. Now, this is often when most people end up at the health department or a clinic, but that wasn't my story. On a break from work, the woman and I met in her van in a parking lot of Starbucks, where she told me my HIV test had come back positive. The only way to describe the moment that followed those words were as if the television had lost its reception. Complete and utter static. The months that followed, I found myself in an unfamiliar world of medical appointments and what felt like a never-ending stream of my blood into test tubes. And that fall, we were all reminded of how brave Carrie Fisher was living when she passed, how public she was about her mental health. When I heard her say that your secrets make you sick, I did the most millennial thing on the planet. I wrote a novel of a Facebook post to tell the world what I had been going through. And the most incredible thing happened. I received such an outpouring of love and support from family and friends and complete strangers who had lived in the shadow of HIV stigma for far too long. Now, I ultimately changed careers, and I get the incredible privilege to work with amazing individuals who live with HIV every single day. It gives me the opportunity to be present when other people have moments just like mine in that van. But I'm not the hero of this story. I wouldn't be where I am today without the incredible medical staff and frontline workers. And the real heroes of this story, the social workers, who not only guided me through an incredibly difficult time in 2016, but encouraged me to share my story, ultimately leading to a national platform no one could have imagined. In the 4 years since my diagnosis, I have learned a lifetime of lessons, but none of them as important as if you say aloud the things that other people fear to whisper, you become a voice instead of a victim. I get the incredible opportunity through my travels and my speaking engagements and the incredibly wild world of the internet to connect with people all over the world living with HIV and AIDS. I have never met a stronger or more resilient group of individuals who prove to me every single day that an HIV diagnosis is not the end, but so often only the beginning. Now, I would be remiss to have this moment with you and not let you know that my story is not a cautionary tale, but one of incredible privilege. Access to life-saving treatment and care is not equal for everyone. Systemic racism, transphobia, and homelessness are just a few of the barriers that stand in our way of ending the HIV epidemic. Barriers that the staff at Casey Care, Thrive Health Connection, Save Inc., and Hope Care Center work tirelessly to remove every single day. You see, the fact of the matter is this: that officer was wrong. There are real heroes among us every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Calvin. And now, please welcome the president of the board of AIDS Service Foundation, Eric Thomas.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being with us today to recognize World AIDS Day 2020. World AIDS Day was founded in 1988 as the globe's first ever day-long event dedicated to world health. The factors that Ron mentioned at the open of the program and that Jesse just highlighted in his remarks shows us that there still exists a vital need to raise money, increase awareness, fight stigma and discrimination, and improve education about HIV, including among our youth. So thank you for being here and helping us to bring an end to this disease. I'm so proud of all the work that we've together accomplished through the AIDS Service Foundation. With our corporate sponsors, our generous patrons, our hosts, and our many volunteers and other community organizations, we are truly making a difference, not only locally, but globally as well. Something our board is very proud of is our community grant program. And we want you to know that the gifts that your company and that you've individually made today in recognition of World AIDS Day 2020 goes towards the community grant program. Each year, the AIDS Service Foundation of Greater Kansas City responds to a number of requests for monies through this program. And we've given out hundreds of thousands of dollars through this community education grants. And because of your continued generosity, we can help many organizations in our hometown that would not otherwise receive additional funding for their HIV/AIDS programming. All of our grant recipients are local not-for-profit organizations which serve specialized needs of our community in dealing with HIV/AIDS. Over the years, we have been pleased to award hundreds of thousands of dollars to these organizations and partners in the fight, such as the Arts Asylum, Calvary Community Outreach Network, the Coterie Theater, St. Luke's Crittenton Children's Center, Kansas City Center for Inclusion, Planned Parenthood of the Great Plains, Sheffield Place, Transformations, and many, many more. We are honored that we can make these grants due to all of your generosity and for all of you who are watching today's World AIDS Day 2020. Thank you. Each year, we honor the memory of an individual named Mark Dreiling. He was a philanthropic force and a steadfast volunteer in the fight against HIV/AIDS. He was a member of the AIDS Service Foundation Board, Hope Care Center Board, and the KC Care Health Center Board. We honor his service in memory, presenting the Mark Dreiling Award for Community Leadership to an individual for having the following characteristics and qualities embodied by Mark: leadership, commitment, integrity, mentorship, and fun. In this year's honoree, we easily find all these characteristics and qualities. To introduce us to this year's honoree, please welcome to the screen Corinne Kritikos.
Good morning. My name is Corinne Kritikos, and I serve as the Vice President of HIV Services for the KC Care Health Center. It is an honor and a pleasure to virtually introduce the AIDS Service Foundation's recipient of the 2020 Mark Dreiling Award for Community Leadership to my co-leader, to my friend, and to my fellow running enthusiast, LaTrischa Miles. LaTrischa serves as the manager of the Peer Treatment Adherence Program at KC Care, where she first started as a part-time peer educator in 2003. She has provided technical assistance to organizations across the United States to help others start successful peer programs. But since this award focuses on community leadership, I want to focus on her tireless, committed work for HIV visibility, advocacy, and support. Locally, LaTrischa has served as the Kansas City Ryan White Planning Council Chair and is the founder and president of Grace of Kansas City, a women's monthly support group designed for and about women of faith with HIV. Regionally, LaTrischa has been working on social justice and human rights since hosting the first public meeting in Kansas City in 2011 to bring awareness to antiquated HIV criminal laws in the state of Missouri. She is a member of Missouri's Justice Coalition and serves on the Legislative Committee. She has frequently testified at the Capitol in Jefferson City to legislatures on the Health and Judiciary Committees to put an end to current Missouri HIV criminal laws that don't support science. Nationally, LaTrischa is one of the 28 co-founders of the U.S. Positive Women's Network, established in 2008, and is the current board chair. She was recently inducted as an honoree of the 2020 Leading Women's Society, whose focus is on mentoring advocates and providing leadership. Back here at home, LaTrischa is admired by many. When I asked her team members and coworkers at KC Care what they admire about LaTrischa, I heard about her mentorship, her advocacy, her passion, her hard work, her commitment, her selflessness, and her inclusiveness. As one team member said, she's not only made space at the table, she's built bigger tables. The battle against HIV and AIDS calls out for the hearts and minds of community leadership. It beckons for those with compassion, empathy, and justice to come forward to lead the fight. Today, we honor a woman who has responded to the calling of her times, who has been there, who has provided exceptional leadership, who has affected change within our community with vision and skill and commitment, and continues to share dignity and hope in the fight against HIV and AIDS. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the screen the recipient of the 2020 Mark Dreiling Award for Community Leadership, LaTrischa Miles.
I am honored and humbled to receive the Mark Dreiling Community Leadership Award. I accept this award with many thanks to AIDS Service Foundation of Greater Kansas City for selecting me. Special thanks to Will Franklin, CEO of Kansas City Care Health Center, who nominated me. Community leadership is leadership for, by, and in the community. It is not fulfilling your own interests, promoting yourself, and reaping benefits. It is identifying what are the key issues, local problems, and even national outlook that impact the community. Leadership is mentorship. It's teaching, staying focused on a common issue. And yes, leadership can be lonely. Leadership is servanthood, often giving of yourself, your time, unconditional love for the people regardless of the outcome. You always want the best for the community you serve. I am grateful to receive this award. I did not expect it. That's not why advocates do the work. But God is good. Advocates do the work because they believe in the cause they are fighting for. Change can only happen when individuals call out injustice, and that is any injustice. The 2020 World AIDS Day theme, HIV Activism Through Art. Art is universal, inspirational, and educational. So the theme is so befitting for this year. We're fortunate to have the mural, and I hope everyone has opportunity to view it at Midtown at Kansas City Care Health Center. It reminds us that we all should have access to quality health care and the need to eliminate HIV stigma. What we know is that when stigma is up, HIV diagnosis is up also. I started my personal journey with HIV December 15, 1995. I have not allowed an HIV diagnosis to define me. I often ask myself, should I share my diagnosis? Because, to be honest, many times when you share something that is so personal, whether you want or not, you become the sacrificial lamb. But I'm reminded I need to share it. This is the work that I do. Will I help someone? I'm nobody, nobody special. A divorced mother of 3, living my life with no regrets. I've run half marathons and numerous 5Ks. No regrets. I am an advocate, and it's been my life's work since joining KC Care in 2003. I will have to say that when one loves what they do, it really ceases to be work. It is my passion to work in healthcare for persons with HIV and also those that have been affected. I have been blessed to do advocacy work locally and nationally. I founded Grace, a women's HIV support group, in 2008. I became co-founder of Positive Women's Network that same year. I held our first public meeting at the Plaza Library for the community on modernizing HIV criminalization laws. that subject a person to criminal liability for otherwise non-criminal conduct. What has motivated me to continue to advocate is that to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but to also believe. I believe we can come against stigma and eliminate it. Stigma equals death. Stigma kills. I've seen it. We can live in a world without stigma. No man is an island. The advocacy work I'm able to do is made possible with help and support from my work family, my manager Corinne, the entire peer team, my church family, Mount Carmel in Kansas City, Kansas, the Women of Grace, and U.S. Positive Women's Network. The women of PWN have prepared me to advocate for social, economic justice, and human rights issues. My family, my daughters, Camera and Crystal, they have been incredibly supportive of my work, always. There have been many late nights and early mornings. Camera pushes and challenges me to continue to reach my full potential, and I am still striving to do that. Crystal and my grandkids make sure that no matter what I do, local, national, or state level, I am still Mom, Nana, or Grammy. And that is my most rewarding role. Thank you for your love, support, and encouragement, family. AIDS Service Foundation, thank you again for this distinguished award. I am honored to continue to display the attributes of leadership, commitment, integrity, mentorship, and fun around the cause for HIV/AIDS awareness. Thank you.
Thank you, LaTrischa, for all that you have and continue to do for our community. You are a hero in our eyes, and I am sure you are a hero to those that you work with and touch every day. Congratulations on a well-deserved recognition and honor. If you are not able to make your donation yet, don't despair. Think about what you have heard and learned today about the global and local fight against HIV/AIDS. Then look at your finances and see what you can give, and then jump online or make your gift right from your phone. We're going to show you how easy that is right now. Go to asfkc.org/donate. We have links to Facebook and Instagram after the program, along with clips of today's program to share with your friends. Go to asfkc.org/donate. Thank you to each and every one of you that has made a gift, or about ready to make a gift, or going to gift in a couple hours, or going to drink a little, then gift. asfkc.org/donate. And we never leave a World AIDS Day event without reminding everyone to mark their calendar for the next AIDS Walk Kansas City. The 33rd AIDS Walk Kansas City will be held on April 24th, 2021. Always the last Saturday in April. And to help Michael Linticum and Josh Strugman to produce next spring's event, 6 outstanding volunteer co-chairs have been enlisted for the 33rd Annual AIDS Walk. I know they're out there in Screenland with us today. What, Mitch? You want me to lower so you can flash their names or some photos? Okay. Angela Dorrell and Danielle Gruns. Belinda Manos, Joseph Pinter, Tasha Everhart, and Blake Dankert. Thank you, Walk co-chairs, and all who work on AIDS Walk to make it such a success each year. So remember, AIDS Walk 2021 will be held April 24th, and most likely virtually, but don't worry, we did that this past April, and we had the virtual walk down. We learned it. Yeah, we learned it like boo, boo, boo. Yeah. AIDS Walk. And just a reminder, please join us late this afternoon at 5:30 p.m. for our virtual community conversation entitled Resiliency Through Art, a Community Conversation. There will be an epidemiological update, that's a big word, from the KCMO Health Department, and then an intriguing and inspiring panel discussion with local artists sharing their stories of resiliency in the face of HIV and AIDS. To join the conversation, use the second link included in the email you received to join this program, or look for it on the AIDS Service Foundation Facebook page. Also, I want to remind you again that today, Tuesday, December 1st, is Giving Tuesday. On this Giving Tuesday, we hope you will consider making a gift to support the AIDS Service Foundation of Greater Kansas City. Every dollar you give today will stay here in our community to help our community. Thank you for considering a gift today. So in closing, we want to say 38 years ago, no one imagined HIV-positive people could live full, healthy, loving lives. With success, however, came a new risk. The risk of complacency. As HIV/AIDS drifts from the headlines, so too does the funding and vigorous action vital to defeat the virus. Your role here today fights those norms. Thank you again, Jared Horman, Jesse Milan Jr., Senator-elect Greg Razor, and Calvin Pugh for your remarks, and congratulations again to LaTrischa Miles. And to everybody watching. Oh look, I have my Mark Dreiling Award from last year. I carry it around with me. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your commitment to the mission of the AIDS Service Foundation, and your being here today to hear our message and do your part in fighting complacency around HIV/AIDS. Thank you, and good afternoon. I love you. My little award. I can see through your big prisms. I need a drink. That chicken was dry.
Say